And we are live. Welcome to Dan-A-Plooza. I'd like to thank my returning guest, the Savage Psycho, Megan Difrancisco. It is great to have you back here at Dan-A-Plooza. Can you tell us what has been your latest wrestling adventure?
Well, last weekend I had two shows. I made my return to Extreme Valley Wrestling out of Dayton, Ohio, against Ari Alexander. Unfortunately, I came up just a tad bit short on that one. And then I had PWA, which is Pro Wrestling Alliance, on Sunday against Ari Alexander again, but that time it was in a street fight. And again, unfortunately, I came up just a tad bit short on that one too. So I was 2 for 2 last weekend.
Yep, but there's always another match in the works, maybe a rubber match. You can finally get some revenge.
Right. This weekend I've got Pro Wrestling Resurrection out of Zanesville. It's a newer company starting up. I'm in a 5-way scramble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a belt on the line, or is it just the match?
I believe there is a belt. I'm not sure if it's like their what they would consider their cruiserweight belt or if it's their heavyweight belt, but there is a title on the line. I just don't remember what it's called.
It's kind of hard when they make the newer companies, and it's I'm going for the belt. I don't know what it is, but I want it.
I don't know which one it is yet, but I want it, and I'm gonna get
it.
But
tell us about your recent fights and matches, along with your trusty kendo stick buddy.
yes, actually, I'm in the process of changing my character from the Savage Queen to the Savage Psycho. I'm a little crazy in the head. My kendo stick, which is named Buddy, he talks to me and he tells me to do evil, bad things to him. It's my character is kind of based off of Chucky. Buddy would be off the newer reboot of the Chucky movie. I have a teddy bear that I'm going to be introducing later on down the road. That's going to be like Andy, and then I'm Chucky. So like before the bell rings, I'll be the sweet, innocent little Andy, and then once the bell rings, it turns into the crazy Chucky person. So I ended up breaking Buddy 2 weeks ago, and I had a double kendo stick on a pole match with my friend Twisted, and he cracked him because he hit me in the face with it. So when he hit me in the face, it cracked a little bit, and then when I hit him in return, it actually broke him, and I cried. But I was able to repair him enough to hold him off until I can get Buddy 2.0 here. But
the generation continues.
Yes. Yes.
Can you also say, because I was just thinking of this because you're the Savage Psycho, and when I think of wrestling, one of my favorite wrestlers to watch, especially from way back when, even to now, who was always kind of psychotic, was Victoria.
Yes, actually. She was one of my favorites growing up. I really enjoyed watching her matches, and especially when she went to, I think it was TNA, when she first debuted in TNA, she played a little bit more of the crazy gimmick than what she did in WWE. Or it might have been towards the end of her WWE career, beginning of the TNA career, one of the two. But that's another kind of person who I'm kind of like watching to study, so that way I can twist it more towards like involve that a little bit of what she did to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, she I remember how sometimes she would have the list of opponents and she was going after this girl or that girl, and it was a checklist of who am I gonna, put away tonight, Um, and I just remember also with her character when she had like the tarantula, so that added, the fear factor.
Yes.
Is 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 Buddy and the teddy bear, is that also supposed to add an extra layer of fear to your opponents?
The kendo stick is, yes. The teddy bear is more to like make them think I'm weaker than what I am, so that way they kind of like, oh, she's just
False
that
sense of
cute,
security.
innocent little, yeah, false insecurity type thing. And then once they get in there, the psychoness comes out, and they're like, oh crap, she's not what I thought she was, type thing.
um, I imagine, are you gonna have kind of like maybe some facial expressions and mannerisms, as
I'm gonna work on it. I'm also gonna work on like crazier makeup too, to try to make myself stand out a little bit more. I've been experimenting every once in a while, but I'm not too good with makeup and stuff like that, so I'm still learning.
right? I think that is a good idea, and especially to make yourself stand out, because um, there aren't really like a lot of things that stand out, within the independent scene. Sometimes with some of the wrestlers, that make it stand out, just from matches that I've seen. And so sometimes I kind of enjoy when there's like that extra layer, or there's the character development into that. I feel
Yeah.
fans and people gravitate towards that more, like this is different, than what we've seen before. I want to see how it unfolds.
Right. That's kind of what I want. I want something that like catches your attention and then draws you in and keeps you there. So that way you want to come back and see where my craziness takes me the next time.
Right. And I just kind of like the heels um persona. And there's just a lot of different things to think about. There are ways to think about, entering the ring and how you leave the ring. And um so I very much look forward to that and seeing the arc of it.
Actually, this gimmick has been getting more over as a baby face than it has a heel. So it's kind of different because I've been a heel for like the past 7 years of my career.
Yeah.
So to go back to baby is it's different. I like it, but at the same time, I want to go back to my comfort zone, and I want to talk smack to the fans, but I can't because I'm the baby.
I feel like even if you did, they'd be like, they talk smack on me, like they would.
Right? They would hear it anyways. Like, yeah, I'm a part of the
Yeah,
show.
I'm a part of it. I got put in my place. I think because people like that kind of character, like we've mentioned, Victoria. I know Alexa Bliss kind of also has the psycho kind of character, but I
Yeah,
think everybody can relate because we've either seen it on television or seen it in person where something just clicks off. So I
yeah.
feel like that's why people want to win. They're like, I want to see the crazy girl whoop this whoop this other girl, and
Right. Yep.
um, for those also watching, I want you to know to make sure to follow the Savage Psycho. Follow her on Instagram. It's still the Savage Queen EEST 2014, and then Megan Difrancisco on Facebook. Is that going to change with your new gimmick, or are you just going to let it play?
Yeah, I'm gonna change it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Like I've
Right.
changed my TikTok one. My TikTok's now like savage dot or psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Um I am just slowly in the process because I still use the Savage Queen at a couple companies because, like, Shauna Reed, she kind of plays the psycho gimmick too, and she works at those companies. So to avoid stepping on her toes, I stick with
Right.
the Savage Queen just because I don't want to, like, there's certain things that you don't want to do to make other people mad type thing.
Savage collision. You don't need it.
It's the Savage Psycho Queen type thing.
Right. You don't want to get into a rock'em sock'em fight, over the,
Right.
the
Over a
psycho
name.
thing.
So.
And for those also future watching, make sure to check out the merch. Brain Buster Tees / Megan Difrancisco and Pro Wrestling tees.com Savage Queen 2014. So make sure to order those. Are you going to have new merch?
Yes, I'm in the process of getting a new logo made. It's gonna be, I have a Chucky shirt where Chucky's on the front of it holding a knife, but instead of Chucky, it's gonna be myself drawn up as Chucky, and it's gonna say Savage Psycho. So
it also makes me wonder if you're gonna say any of the Chucky phrases in any of your matches.
I say them in my promos. Like when I end my promos, I look at Buddy because normally when I cut promos, I talk to Buddy. So I look at him and I said, "Remember, friends till the end," and then I give him a hug, and then that's how I end my promos.
There you go. There you go. Wow, that just is gonna add all kinds of fun and excitement because you'll have that shift, that paradigm shift, when you switch it on, and it makes me wonder, like, after you go kind of psycho in the ring, are you gonna stay that way, or are you gonna flip back to like kind of like a normal? Or
I'll flip back. So
okay.
when the bell rings, the psycho switch flips. So when the match is over, the bell rings. Obviously, it will ring again, and then the psycho switch flips back down. So I'm back to my normal, like, what just happened type thing. Like, I didn't go crazy.
Is that a little bit out of the page out of the Festus book?
Kind of, yes. My thing is like, regardless if I'm like in psycho mode or if I'm in not psycho mode, I can always hear what Buddy's saying to me. So
okay.
Buddy always talks to me, and then Buddy also can turn the switch on and off as well. So like, Buddy picks and chooses people he likes, and then he'll talk to me, and if he doesn't like them, he'll tell me to go. He'll tell me to be a little psycho towards them, type thing. It's a bit confusing at first, but once I figure out how to convert that over, it will make sense.
Okay. I was just seeing if you were going Savage Festus when you ring the bell and just the transfer. Yeah. But you won't be going catatonic, after.
Right, no. I'll come back down.
Come back down. No. Which I always enjoyed that character because I loved how ridiculous it kind of was, like how people would sometimes take advantage of it and just ring the bell. But
yeah.
I always thought it was great and clever because we knew as soon as the bell rung, it was game over.
Yep.
So, so it's definitely and he definitely still plays up to that gimmick. I don't know if you've ever met Luke Gallows, but he still talks about that gimmick and everything. And I think it's something where they mention where Vince doesn't even remember that he was Festus.
I mean, he doesn't look the same as he was when he was Festus, but that was like, for being able to play that character, he did it very, very well.
Oh yeah. And I think it was him, Gallows, and Anderson. They're like, well, the backstage agent's going to tell Vince. They're like, no, 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 no. I want to make sure he win the titles and everything tonight, that he doesn't remember that I'm festive so I don't lose. So let's move forward. Is there any kind of match that you're really looking forward to maybe this year?
Actually, yes, I am making my debut at Angel Gates in in Pennsylvania. It's Mix Sports. It's MCKEESP. Oh yeah, and I'm actually looking forward to that because I've seen their company around for a while, and I've been trying to get in there. And when COVID hit, they slowed down a lot, and they didn't run shows anymore. So now they're starting back up, and I actually am finally getting booked there. So I'm making a debut in a new state at a new company, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm just trying to get my name out there the best I can. And I want to debut in more states, and I want to travel a lot more. So I'm hoping that by going to this show, it leads me to new people to lead me to more opportunities.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I feel like it's important to be well traveled and to have new opponents and to definitely mix it up.
Yes.
um, how are you feeling now that like COVID is kind of like in the rear view mirror almost? I don't know. There's been articles, so I'm hoping that it's going to end. But now that you can actually do live shows and maybe this whole lockdown is finally under, put in the past.
I'm so happy for COVID to be over. Like, it ruined so many things for so many people, and I am 100% ready for it to be put in the past and be completely over with. But the media still hypes it up real bad sometimes on the news, so it still scares some people. But I'm glad that they're allowing us to continue to wrestle and not completely shut us down anymore. It gives us, not just us entertainers, the chance to entertain you guys, but it gives the fans a chance to escape from being confined to their house all day or wherever they're confined to. So it gives us time to actually interact with other humans, and I am so glad for that again.
Yeah, I'm like, I have the last wrestling show I went to was in 2019 before the pandemic, and I'm like, I haven't seen anybody get hit with a chair like in a long time. I need to see that again and remember what that's like. Like I've
Right.
watched it on television, but I want to see someone get stomped on, and I haven't seen that in almost 3 years.
It's so much different than to sit. It's so much different at a live show than it is on watching it on TV, because at a live show you can interact with those wrestlers. You can yell, you can scream, you can, they'll talk back, and on your TV you can just, yeah, you can yell at your TV, but it's not gonna yell back at you. You know what I mean? Like, so live shows are. I love going to live shows.
Yeah, it's not like put the chair down. Come on, TV. Oh, why'd you pick
Yeah, I will
that?
have to say though, going to live shows as a like sitting in the fans as a worker, it's
Yeah.
really hard to do because I nitpick everything. I try not to because I still want to enjoy the show, but I do sit there and nitpick every once in a while. So I'm like, my son loves wrestling, so like I go to shows for him, but it's
Right.
hard to sit there and not nitpick things. Like, it really is sometimes.
It definitely is. And it's definitely one of those things where I enjoy when the crowd really gets into it and doesn't do the typical cheers, like the
Yeah,
yay and the boo, and I like
yeah,
when they chant stuff differently or just clap or something like that. And I enjoy when they say, oh, that's a good move, or this, or I enjoyed this finish,
the
instead of
vibe is so much different.
exactly. And that's kind of like what I miss, because like even on TV, I still hear "Yay, boo," and I'm just like, how many times have we seen this?
Yeah.
So, uh, are you excited for any new horror things to come out for 2022?
I'm excited for the new Chucky season to come out.
Oh,
I actually just recently watched the new Scream 5 movie, and that was
oh,
really good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and
right.
I I liked how they took it back to the original, like Billy's daughter, and nobody knew Billy had a daughter until then, and then it all ended in the same exact house, kind of,
Yes.
sort of the same way that the first one did, which I liked that. Um, I don't know how they're gonna make. They're supposedly supposed to be making a sixth one, but with the way how they ended that one, I don't know if it's gonna follow Billy's daughter and her sister, or if it's gonna follow Sydney and them. I didn't like how they. No, spoiler if you haven't seen it yet for future watchers. I don't like how they killed Dewey. I don't think Dewey should have died, but
No.
I understand why they had to do it. But I didn't like that part because Dewey was one of my favorites.
They there was so many rumors. They're like, well, Matthew Lillard has to come back, Stu, and I go, he got killed by a giant TV, like with
Yeah,
the whole backboard. You just can't
come back
just
from the dead. They had Billy in it. Like I know Billy died, but like he was his daughter was psychotic, so
yeah,
she was seeing him
crazy.
as like a hallucination behind her or what in the mirror and stuff like that. That was a little weird. I think they could have done without that part. And but I mean, I guess they wanted Billy to come back, but I think they could have done without it and just had her tell the story of how she found out she was Billy's son or Billy's daughter. But
Yeah, they were all about wanting Matthew Lillard, and like his head was to be shaved and he had marks on his face from the TV, and it looked more like Frankenstein. I go, I just don't think that's gonna
I don't think you could pull that off.
no. He'll be like, I'm still woozy, and you look like you got hit by a ton of bricks.
Right, right.
um I love that movie. That's my favorite franchise is the Scream.
That's
Uh
one of my favorite too. It was the Scream movie was the very first one was the first scary movie I had ever watched, and I was probably like 6 when I watched it.
People watching Power Rangers. I want to see what Billy does to Sydney
Right.
Prescott.
Yes. My son watches scary movies with me. He watches like the 90s scary movies where they weren't that scary, but they
Yeah.
were scary, you know what I mean? Like they're scary for a 6-year-old. He watches those ones with me. Like he'll sit down and watch Chucky and The Seed of Chucky and The Bride of Chucky, and
Oh yeah.
I haven't tried Ghostface with him yet, but I think he could sit there and watch it.
Um, people were kind of making memes of. You remember? I know what you did last summer. So
Yeah, yes, I
when
do.
pandemic, they're like, I know what you did last summer. Nothing, because we're in lockdown. I know
Yeah,
what you did this summer. Nothing.
next summer, I still know what you did last summer.
I've done nothing for 3 summers.
Yes, that's what it feels like sometimes.
It does. So I got a kick out of that. Uh, I enjoyed that. I think that um, they're still trying to talk about a Leprechaun movie. I don't really want another Leprechaun movie.
I haven't seen the other one. That I tried to watch it, but I just couldn't get myself to like actually get into it. Like, so I turned it off.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, I like Warwick Davis, as the Leprechaun, but
yeah.
I
Hey,
can't.
have you seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one that came out on Netflix, the newest one?
Haven't seen that yet.
Oh my god, it is gory. It is bloody and blood, but it was really good. But it was really, really bloody for it. Like he, yeah, there was a bus scene in there where he like there's a lot of people on a bus, and he just comes in with the chainsaw and just goes to town, and there's blood like everywhere. It was extremely bloody, but they kind of did um where the girl from the first one, like, well, I haven't really seen the very, very first, but there was a girl that escaped Leatherface, and
Right.
she comes back to try it, like a kind of like a Michael Myers thing
Yeah.
with the
Laurie
baby.
Strode, he
Yeah.
returns. Yeah.
Well, she comes back to try to kill Leatherface,
Hmm.
and then it kind of gave me like a knockoff Michael Myers vibe
Yeah.
at that point. But for a Netflix movie, it was really good.
Definitely. Well, before we wrap it up, anything you want to say or promote?
Just keep supporting local indie wrestling. Watch, even if you just watch wrestling matches on YouTube, support indie wrestling. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure. I can't wait to come back and do another interview with you. Hopefully in the future. I love doing this. I love doing interviews. So I just thank you again.
You're welcome. And we will have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed Dan-A-Plooza. We'll be back June 5th with 4 guests. We're going to have Gary Damron. He's the all-star promoter and owner. We're going to have from the wrestling world and cosplayer, Monique Dupree. We're going to have from The Walking Dead, who's been known for being in different advertisements when it first came out, Sonia Thompson. So we're going to have her, and we're also going to have a special effects artist and actress, Rita Christine, will be here as well. So
It sounds like a good lineup.
it will be. So stay tuned. Thanks for supporting Dan-A-Plooza. Have a good night.